Hi, this is Gigi Haycock, one of the programmers at SF DocFest 2023, and it is my pleasure to have with us today for Dr. Malka Shabtai for Nafkot Yearning. And I have to say, first off, thank you so much for your time and welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure and great honor to be part of your festival.
Oh, good. So I think that what struck me after watching the film and everything is the title about yearning. I felt as if that was so evident in the thread of the film. Can you talk a little bit about how you came to know about this hidden community in Ethiopia and your anthropological work with it?
Okay, so I'm an applied anthropologist for the last 40 years. For the last 40 years, I work with Ethiopian Jews in Israel and in Ethiopia in research, activism, and many other aspects. But it happened that I never heard about this specific community until 28 years ago. I was in a conference in Italy, an Ethiopian British researcher mentioned this community, but we did not believe him. We thought we already explored all the Jewish communities in Ethiopia in the other areas, in Gondar and Tigray. But he presented that community and we all forgot about it. And it is amazing because I worked in the Israeli embassy in the 90s, right there in Addis Ababa. Never heard, never was in touch with people of that community. But 5 years ago, I got this one phone call from an Ethiopian friend, Israeli Ethiopian friend, who are now living in Ethiopia. And he said he met this guy who presented himself as a Jew, but he himself, as an Ethiopian Israeli Jew, didn't know anything about his community. So he advised him to call me. And I received this call and said, please tell me about your community. And as soon as he started talking, I understood that he's just telling me the same things I heard from Professor Richard Pankers. Then it was 25 years ago. So I went to my library and got Professor Pankers' article and kept it open. And he was telling me about their lifestyle. Mainly, he mentioned that this is a very ancient Jewish community who still practice traditions from the first temple. Then he said, we are hiding because we are persecuted and we are considered as witches and those who own the evil eye. So our community developed a special system to hide and keep practice. And we are living in hidden synagogues in a very remote area in Ethiopia. And he said, in the beginning, our forefathers built 45 secret synagogues, but now we only have 15 left because of persecution, because of pressure from the church, and so on and so on. And then I said, but there are many people coming to Addis Ababa from Israel, from the US. How come you stayed behind? And he said, yes, some people came, some people visited us throughout the year, but nobody stayed. And this was 5 years ago. And I was on my way to another ancient Jewish community in Zimbabwe. It's called the Lemba tribe. And I told him, I told him, on my way back, I will stop over 7 hours in Addis Ababa. Could you please organize me a group of people, 40 people, older people, younger people, and so on. Let me meet you. So I came to Addis Ababa and there were 40 people in his house. And they were telling me all about their life, hardships, struggles, stories, traditions. And I told them, let me go back to Israel and talk to some people and see what's happening, because I'm a private person. Although I'm heavily involved with the Ethiopian community in Israel, let me go and get some advices from the Ethiopian leaders in Israel, from parliament members, from rabbi. Let me go talk to people. I came back to Israel and I start mentioning meeting the community. And I got the same reaction. It is not possible. Someone wrote in the Israeli newspaper, Malka just invented another Jewish community in Ethiopia. I was blamed to invent a Jewish community.
Yeah.
But gradually, the elderly people, the religious elders of the Ethiopian community in Israel, start saying, Malka, we knew about them all our life, since our childhood, from our forefathers, but actually we forgot them. You came to wake us up. So I start having dialogues, still having, with Ethiopian religious leaders, with Israeli parliament members, with the person who is now our president, and others, and also Jewish organizations in the US. And to make it, more concentrated, for the last 5 years, I went to Ethiopia every 6 months to work with the community, to support them, to understand their story. And after 2 years that I was coming again and again, the large community meeting decided that they are ready to share their story. I said, would you like to continue the same way you are? Are you eager for changes? Are you ready to come out? What will be the prices? So they have their traditional way to discuss and take decisions in the community hierarchy. And they came up and say, we are ready to share our story. So there was a COVID time and there was lockdown in Israel. So every time there was a lockdown in Israel, I took a taxi to the airport and a cinematographer with me and went to Ethiopia. Now, in the area where I work, in Semyon Shoah, in these mountains, first of all, I am the first white person they ever saw. They never met until these days another white person. Can you imagine? The area is, as you see in the film, is beautifully scenery, mountains, big river, and they are hiding there. Also, it is very remote. It's very difficult to get there. For example, when they decided where I should go first to film, they said, this is the most ancient secret synagogue. You should go there. But they didn't tell me it takes 2 days to get there. I crossed a Muslim country inside Ethiopia, a Muslim region. They didn't tell me that it's so physically challenging to go down the mountains, to go up the mountains. And we started the process. So I came with the first photographer. We did some of the filming. And then I came back to Israel and I decided that Abera is the hero of the film. So I went back with another very, very good cinematographer. His name is Meni Elias. And we did the second round of filming.
Oh, well, it's incredible because Abera was the one who, I mean, it was hidden from him as well, right? His mother was only telling him so much, and you were his opportunity, and he jumped at it, right? To go and visit, and be able to meet all the people who, because there's no Torah, everything is done by passing it down from generation verbally, right? And so, as you were saying, it's like the first of the temple that they're doing those rituals and everything. It's incredibly fascinating. And then to see him at the end of the film, also in the group of people that possibly you were speaking with, saying, I want to, I've just seen this, even though I was supposedly too young. So how is he, and how is that going as far as it becoming less hidden, or what's the change that's been happening?
First of all, it took 2 years, the editing and the intensive work on the film. And just to mention, at the time that we did the film, we decided also to do a book in English with Professor Marla Breckschneider from New Hampshire. She offered me to do a book about the community, but my condition was that the community members will write most of the chapters. So she gave us this genius editor who worked with them days and nights and days and nights. I wrote one chapter, but most of the chapters were written. So we now present the book and the film as complementary. Now, I want to say something which is not usually spoken about documentary characters, I would say, my hero. First of all, as you saw in the film, as you can see in the film, like you said, this is an oral tradition community. All the songs in the film are the way, this is the way how they pass the tradition, sorry, from generation to generation. Every Shabbat, we sing these songs. This is how they tell their story to themselves. So they gave me the permission to use the songs in the film, and I immediately understood that I don't only take the sound and the melodies, I take the words, because the words is how they share the story from generation to generation. But I want to speak about Abera for a minute. When I met Abera for the first time, he was an artist making beautiful pendants and artwork, as you see. And I bought myself maybe 30 pieces of his art each time I came. And then, as you can see in the film, when he heard that I'm going to visit the secret synagogue, he actually begged me and begged me and begged me with tears in his eyes until I said, there is no room in the car. He said, never mind, I will sit in the back with the blankets we take. So he did, and he came with me to this journey. His mother is a wonderful woman, and she was very brave. She's a very brave woman to agree even to be in the film. And I will tell you just a minute what happened after the film has been screened in Ethiopia. Anyway, we went together to the journey as if I'm taking him because he asked me to join us. But as you see in the film, he is the one who took care of me.
Yes.
I'm like a second mother. He helped me physically to do this journey. While doing that, we were going together through his journey of identity building, of exploration. Now, in the scene that you see towards to the end of the film, when he stand up and talk to the people, you know, we people who make documentary, I think, like more than anything else to speak about the miracles of making documentary, because these are the scenes that you don't plan, you don't know that they are going to come, and they just happen there. So we were coming to the meeting in the place called Inwari. I was there. There was always an order, Balaine as a leader opens up, then I talk as a guest and ask them to give their witnesses. Suddenly, Abera, who is a very shy guy, who never talk in public, stood up and started talking. Now, he broke all the rules of the protocol. But this is his real transformation.
Yeah.
He stood up and he actually spoke as a leader, asked them to share their experiences, and gave himself a mission to take care of the future of the community as a very young man. Now, what you don't know, that Abera is a lawyer with a master's degree in insurance law, and he's actually practicing law every day in court. So he's a lawyer and artist. And then when we completed the film, okay, that's another issue, but something started open up with him. Suddenly he started speaking English. He asked me to go to English school. So I gave him a gift. He went to English school. He started talking in English more clearly. He started speaking in meetings. He was like a leader's assistant. Now he's part of the leadership. When I completed the film, the first thing I wanted to do, and I did with hardships, I brought the 3 heroes of the film to the inauguration in Israel. So they were here in my home for 10 days, screening the film, talking to people, having meetings. Very important. 10 days. We didn't sleep. We traveled all over the country. It was amazing. He came back to Ethiopia and he started taking more and more leadership roles. For example, Abera has been in the most secret synagogue already. He is the only one. He arranged for me a meeting with the top spiritual leader of the community that did not agree to meet me for 4.5 years. I brought him. Yes, it's very interesting.
Wow.
Just to tell you something else, you will not believe this week is very special to me. My phone is open because yesterday I submitted a request in the immigration department to get a visa for Abera to come to Israel for a month for 2 reasons. One, I'm going to have a screening tour in Israel. mainly within the veteran Ethiopian community in Israel. And I
Okay.
want Abera to be there. And I want him to talk in Amharic. And I want him to share his story firsthand. That's one thing. The second thing, he wants to learn and see a modern techniques of art. And I made an agreement with some artists and School of Arts to see him and invite him in. And the third thing, I think he deserves a holiday. We should some quiet time after, Ethiopia is in a very hard situation now.
Yeah.
The ethnic tension is also influencing the community. It's not easy. And he's a young man. He's 30 years old. And I want to bring him home. He's like my non-biological son. I have one daughter and he is my non-biological son. Lovely person, very smart, very supportive. And, I'm trying to give back as much as I can to the community in general. But these three heroes have very, very deep relationships. We have very, very close and deep relationships. We were in many times in life-risking situations. And we were taking upon ourselves a big mission. And when the film was ready, I integrated it in Israel, and right away I came to Ethiopia and was ready to integrate it in Addis Ababa University. As soon as I landed, Abera's mother told me, Malka, don't screen the film. We are afraid, we are scared. What will happen? I said, look, it's okay. It's your life, it's your decision. No problem. If you don't want me to screen the film, I will not screen the film. So they took their time, they discussed, and they came to the conclusion, okay, please invite at least 30 people from the community to Addis Ababa University. I invited the Israeli ambassador, researchers, activists, and many Christian organizations and community members. Now, it was an amazing event. Many people talked, and the next day, we got many phone calls from Christian organizations, especially organizations that work with young generation. They all asked me to screen the film all over Ethiopia to educate the next generation, not only to change their prejudice opinions about Jews, but many other groups in Ethiopia that are persecuted, that are looked down to. And I'm still working with all of them. And we have many new partners. We work with the Interfaith Organization. 3 months ago, for the first time in history, there was a Jew from this community on stage in the big African interfaith under the African Union meeting. So we do a lot of work, and the biggest results, which I would like to share with all of you, that because of the film and because of work, hard work, that we all do together, finally the community got from the mayor of Addis Ababa land for Jewish cemetery, first time in history. We also got land to build up a permanent synagogue and community center. And we got land to build up a Beta Israel village in a city called Debra Berhan. This what brought us to the US for our next stage. We did a fundraising tour, and we don't know how much we did raise, but we did a fundraising tour. We will get the information next week. But the idea is to share the story with our Jewish sisters and brothers, to share the story with the world. Now, I just want to tell you one more thing that is very, very rewarding to me and to my partners. You know, this is a Jewish story, very specific in Ethiopia like that. So I am totally surprised and amazed that the film already got 34 awards all over the world. Now, when the film got an award in Bhutan, I'm not talking about US, UK, even Latin America, Europe, in Bhutan. So I was laughing, telling my colleagues, you know, we got an award in Bhutan. So my cinematographer, you see how great work he did. He's a good and famous filmmaker in Israel. He said, Malka, you have to appreciate every attention you get from every person anywhere in the world. And what I'm learning from the feedback I'm getting is, although it is like a specific Jewish story, no, it is very universalistic.
Yeah.
People all over the world suffer from prejudice. People all over the world hold to their beliefs, to their identities, pay huge prices, give up their lives, but they want to hold to something. Some cannot, some give up. This is the same all over the world. But I see how people from all over the world are getting very, very attached to this film. And this is the biggest reward, because we can all learn from each other. And
Yeah.
if this community give a courage or באמת encourage other groups all over the world, for me, that's the biggest reward of doing such a film.
Oh, I have to tell you, I don't really have anything else to say. That's pretty incredible. And that's how I felt, that it was universal. And just the energy. And I'm so happy to hear that he's doing so well and that he's out there and he will be coming to Israel and staying with you. You've had quite a last 5 years in the last week as well, right? You've been traveling everywhere. So
yeah,
that's really wonderful.
I'm a world traveler, and let me tell you that I'm interested in general since 2010. I'm interested in what we call diverse Jewish communities. These are communities that are not in the mainstream of Judaism and are not officially recognized by the Israeli religious authorities. For example, I work with another group, the Lemba in Zimbabwe, which I mentioned, and I work in Brazil. So my next film, my third film, now in the third rough cut, I'm working about Moroccan Jews who came to Amazonia in Brazil since the 18th century.
Wow.
And I filmed since 2010, and a few months ago, I went very deep in Amazonia to find descendants of Jews, to understand what does it mean to be a descendant, besides of living in a... And I do another film about Brazilian historian Anita Novinsky, with a Brazilian partner, about the phenomenon of Danusim and the Inquisition in Brazil that was silent for 300 years. And what I want to tell you, these stories are very, very strong for me, because first, we have the words of our prophets. I'm a secular Jew, but I read the words of the prophet. These are words of a sociological vision. When they speak about the ingathering of the lost tribes of Israel, and so on and so on, these are these communities, nothing else. So that's very interesting in many ways. And also, it is very challenging to go and meet my sisters and brothers all over the world who are choosing to hold to their beliefs, or sometimes even losing it. And I'm giving you a spoiler. I'm asking, where are the Jews and where is Judaism in Amazonia? And the big answer is Judaism is in the heart. Whether they are now evangelists or Catholics, the memory of identity and genealogy stay there in the heart. And I will not tell you more, otherwise you will not see my third film.
Well, make sure that you submit it, please.
With God's help, let me. You know, when you finish a film like Nafkot, I can tell you, you can edit it if you would like. The question is, how did I pay for all these 5 years project, right? Who is behind this? And the simple answer is that no film and TV grants in Israel were willing to invest in me. They say, you started your career late, 60 years old, I went to film school. The footage is amazing, the story is amazing, but actually we don't really believe that you will be able to complete the film, okay? So I used all my retirement grant, $300,000 US. I put it all. Now I'm very, very happy and very, very poor, which is okay, no problem. I believe that one day we will sell the film. We need to use some of this money to build up the synagogue. You know, things do their work. But I don't actually have funds for my third film. So there are different ways how things happen. I have a volunteer excellent editor. I have a volunteer translator from Portuguese to English. And now I'm raising funds. I want to raise funds for original music because there is one singer in the world who sings in an ancient Moroccan Jewish language. I will not tell you that, but since I got back from the US, 3 days ago, I got a phone call from Morocco inviting me to come with the film to a festival in Tangier. I told them the film is not ready. I'm still in rough cut situation. No, come with the rough cut. The singer that you want will give a show on the stage,
Oh, wow.
and we will help you to raise funds for the post-production. Can you believe that?
No, it's pretty amazing. That's wonderful. Yep, right?
Don't argue. When God is intervening, don't argue.
Exactly. I like that. That's perfect. Oh, thank you so much for your time. And I'm so happy about you traveling all around the US showing this film, and you've got a little bit of jet lag and you're doing great.
Thank you very much. And San Francisco is a city that I've been before. I wish I could be there, with you in the real festival, but we do what we can do. But the online festival, believe me, you will have a lot of viewers from all over the US that were crying for me to give them the opportunity to watch the film online. But I did not agree. I said, this is a face-to-face tour. And when the opportunity will come, I will share with you. So you will not believe, but I already shared the link with all my partners in the US. So get ready for them.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and good night.
Yeah, good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you.